the common intention to demonize it and to imply that any syncretism or all syncretism is wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I struggle with how do we lift up the African spirituality, and I think that's some of the work you're doing, Gabby.
Yeah, exactly. And the best way to do it is to seek out the scholarship on the material. A lot of our reservations are grounded in the fact that we just don't know. And so then we're going by what we've heard or what people say about certain traditions without actually reading and learning about these traditions and even traveling to the places where we can see the traditions come to life. So here at Howard, and I'm going to do a lot of plugging for Howard during this time, but we have a visiting scholar with us for this, well, for a 3-year period of time as we're working on a grant called Equipping the Saints, Promising Practices of African American Congregations. And the scholar's name is Dr. Velma Love, and she's doing scholarship and has published a book on the Yoruba tradition, and specifically looking at Ifa narratives and the Odu. And so the name of her book is Defining the Self, and I see some of the Howard students nodding there. But that's one entry point. So you can just take up a tradition and just take some time and do some self-study if you're not currently in school. Or come and take a class, or find the resources and the scholars that often are right here in your midst. But we just don't share that part of the tradition with one another. So when you think about Howard, you're not thinking that we have a scholar here who's working on Ifa spiritual narratives, another African spirituality that is right here for you to learn about. And she'll actually be teaching a course during the spring semester. So just know that the information and the scholarship is out there, but nobody is going to just feed it to you. This is where you're going to have to make the effort to come to the trough.
I say this as a Hebrew Bible scholar, read the Bible. And here's what I mean by that. When the Psalm says that I am the Lord of Lords, that is a statement that there are other lords. Yeah. When it says I am the God of gods, you shall have no other God before me, it's not the same thing as you shall have no other God. My son, who just finished taking Old Testament in Texas, called me the other day and said, Mom, we were in this class, and I said to them, you know, I'm reading the Bible, I'm thinking, oh, they worshipped more than Yahweh. Of course, the winners write the book, right? So the historian tells us that this is what was wrong with Egypt, with Israel, rather, that they were worshiping other gods. But when you read Jeremiah 44, the women say, no, we weren't having problems until we quit sacrificing to the Queen of Heaven. That's what they say to Jeremiah. They say, and how about we're not going to stop? And of course, he said, the women is what's wrong. He said, and if you think, and the women say, and if you think we were making sacrifices to the Queen of Heaven without our husbands and the officers and the authorities in our cities knowing, you're crazy. But we were doing good when we were making sacrifices to the Queen of Heaven. When David is dancing before the Lord, Baal, at the end of the dance, he passes out raisin cakes. Raisin cakes are offerings to the goddess.
Read the Bible.
Read the Bible. Now, one way to interpret that is he's hedging his bets, just in case Yahweh don't come through. Am I right, Mashika? Just in case. Because in the ancient world, they understood gods needed goddesses. They understood, are we out of time, sis? 5 minutes. They understood that when it rained, it was, their understanding of sexuality was different from ours. All of that, our sort of pornographic reading of sex in the Bible is not what the Bible is doing. And so part of it is actually, instead of reading the Bible like it's saying what you want it to say, to actually read what the text says. So I used to say to my students all the time, we're going to do something really radical. We're going to like actually read the Bible. Like read it, like for real read it. But if you're reading the Bible, there's no way to come. Here's another really good one. I grew up in the South, so I know something about seeing haints and ghosts and having your dead relatives visit you. Yeah, there's some people in the house. So when when Saul goes to, the word is not witch. That's a bad translation. When he goes to the seer, the oath of Endor, and remember they're supposed to have killed